was to be better missionaries. So it's like a 4-hour-long conversation type style, and then we write this massive report on it, and then from there they get a growth partner, and it's basically a coach, and we go through that and work on areas where missionaries can grow. So that's the training that we've been doing, and then we'll go back to Cameroon on Monday. So that's why we're great. And the internet is down here is way better than where I'm at. There's a cable that runs from like New England all the way down to the Horn of Africa, and both cables were cut. So they've been on like satellite internet, and like the whole continent of Africa has terrible internet since like January 15th or something like that.
That's funny, but also not funny at the same time.
Exactly.
It's a little tragic.
It is.
Okay, so I think we're set up on this end. Not that I wouldn't love to see your finger in the shot the whole time, but
is this a good?
No, that's perfect.
Good angle, or
listen,
put it away?
Every angle is a good angle for you, bro.
Oh yeah. Let me see if I can do something so I'm not moving it, and is it how's that?
That's perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Do you want Michelle in this at all, or am I okay to do it?
You are totally fine doing it by yourself. It's not
Okay,
that we don't want Michelle to be in the video. I mean, I think
Sure.
if I had my choice, I would prefer Michelle to be in the video. But it is.
Yes.
That's a good save.
No, here's who you want in the video is Henry. Just show our son Henry, and then everybody will be like, "We love missions and missionaries."
Maybe just like poke him. Maybe just like poke him into the video. Like put him in the background just to say hi, and then
Yeah.
everyone will just be like, "Man, let's give him even more money."
Yeah, he had his 1-year vaccination shots. We couldn't find him in Cameroon.
Hey, Michelle. Hey, dude. How are you? Hi. Oh my word. He is the cutest dude I've ever seen in my life. Are you kidding?
He's pretty.
Like, oh.
Hey. How you doing? Man, I didn't. When did all of this happen? I don't even remember any of this.
Yeah. So it was a crazy. Let me get this set up again. So when we came home, we started our adoption process, and adopting from the States is stupid long, and it's just crazy.
Sure.
And so we were itinerating during that time, and we actually came to the end where we raised our budget, but we didn't have a baby yet. So we kind of were placed on like a stateside assignment, and I just tried to lay low, just because it's hard to explain. Well, why are you here? And
Totally.
What are you doing? I worked for the Africa office, so anything that the Africa office didn't want to do, they sent it to me and Michelle, and we did everything. Yeah, we were the grunt work, the busy work, and the stuff that nobody wanted to do, they sent it to us, and we were happy to do it.
And it was just to stay in the States.
Yeah, so we did this all from Washington. I traveled to the continent of Africa like 4 or 5 times. Believe it or not, Evangel University asked me to speak for them, which is just mind-boggling.
No, dude, that's exactly where you belong.
So we like Vanguard, we did a lot of just whatever they wanted, we did it. And so Henry is a year and 2 months, and so I was actually in Africa, and Michelle called and said, "I think we've got the opportunity we're waiting for. We've been waiting for almost 2.5 years for a phone call. for a
Wow.
birth mom to say, we choose you guys, and we want you to parent this baby.
Wow.
So I changed the flight. I flew home, and 2.5 weeks later, it was on. So on Wednesday, November 28th, we got a phone call, and the agency that we were working with said, we have an opportunity we want you to think about. And we said,
the one in Africa fell through.
So the one in Africa fell through, and we were waiting for, we thought, oh great, here we go again, we're waiting again. Well, on November 28th, they called us and said, we have an opportunity we want you to think about. We said, we're ready. We don't need to think about it.
Yeah.
So the next day, the 29th, they said, all right, here's the details. Here's the information. If you're good with it, let's move forward. We said, we're ready to go for it.
Yeah.
So that's when they gave us all the details, and they said the baby is due December 6th.
Oh,
Well,
so it was newborn.
So the next day, they said, the moms and later, you need to drop everything and fly to Dothan, Alabama. Dothan is like 2 hours from the Florida Panhandle, and
Like deep south.
Deep South, yes. So we dropped everything. We flew from Portland to Atlanta, drove a car 4 hours, and got at the hospital. Henry was 11 hours old, and he's been with us ever since.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And then from the time we got him, it was a year of legal paperwork, just all kinds of court stuff, finalized adoption, passport, birth certificate. It was just a mess of getting everything done and in order. So that was all done. And as soon as we had that, we left within a month or two of having all of our documents in place.
Wow.
No, we left in weeks.
Oh, Michelle just reminded me. She said we left within weeks.
Get out of the country.
Yeah.
What's up, dude? How are you? You want to be in a video? He's like, yes, of course I do. That's awesome.
Well,
So what this is gonna look like is like I'm filming right now, but we're gonna kind of cut this down, and it'll be just like where we normally do like our mission spotlight. Like you guys will be that mission spotlight, but it'll be this conversation.
great.
So we'll kind of I'll have like an official start, like, hey, I got Ben and Michelle Dunlap, global partners with ours, and then basically it'll just be like, tell us where you're at and what you're doing. Maybe just give us some like, I'll ask you these questions, like, what are some like wins from this, like, that you're in the midst of, within like in the middle of this this like, it's not itineration, what is it? It's the when you're on the field term. There you go.
Yeah.
And then just talking about like how we can partner with you guys, like just like how we can pray for you, talk about real needs, like talk about things like that. And then when you do, if you could just do me a favor, mention the Go Fund. So like when you guys give to the Go Fund, you enable like us to do what we do out on the field, because we've kind of moved towards like Kingdom Builders. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, that's Ketterling, right?
Yeah. So man, I thought that was such a genius idea that I'm like, we need to do something like that. So we have our monthly partners that we support. We have projects that we want to like invest in, and then we also have like church plants. So that's kind of how we break it down. And so we just ask people to give to that, like all of their monies to that. So like instead of giving the faith promise, which is basically, it's the same thing, we're just changing the wording. They give to the Go Fund. And
do you have a missions lady that I spoke with?
Yeah.
Maybe there's another. What's her name?
So we have like a team. We have like a whole team of people that like, are on the, and there might have been several people from our team reaching out to you for different reasons. But
because I thought it was a different church in Spokane, and they used the GoFund. I created a video, and I used the word GoFund, and I don't think it's like church specific. So I could even send that to you, and it may be useful to you.
That'd be awesome.
And it in a nutshell, it describes our ministry. But I'll send it to you, see if you can use it. But I remember specifically, I say GoFund.
You know, in Spokane, as far as Assembly of God churches goes, we're the only church that's like really cares about missions. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you, dude.
I'm trying to. Yeah.
What?
It might be.
Anyway,
That's a GoFund. That might be us.
what, do you have a lady? Well, anyways, we won't get into that.
Jessica,
But,
Heather,
maybe
Helen,
Jessica
Young.
Maybe. Yes. And I sent her a publication where we were featured in the Worldview magazine, and she should have all that stuff.
Man, you guys are big deals now. It's just like
No,
I'm starting to get intimidated just having this conversation. You keep name dropping. You're gonna stress me out. I'm not gonna be natural.
It was Jessica Young.
Okay, great.
So, and then, but if you never saw that video, and if she still has it, if you want to use it, but this is even better. I like this. I prefer this.
I think we're trying to get a lot of content that we can put on our website too, so that like when they go to the website, they can actually click on missions, and there's like actual video footage of people that we support, and they can see that kind of stuff. So maybe we're trying to gain a lot of content that way too. So maybe that was just for that.
Yeah, and I think I sent her like 50, 60 of those magazines. So and you could pass those out. So
She might have burned them, Ben.
No, she wanted autographs. You know.
Yeah, I just want to to Josh, love Ben and Michelle. Remember when we were just youth pastors together?
That's right.
And now
I can see this perfect spot on the shelf right up there.
That's right. None of these books are real, man. It's all filler. I haven't read any of these.
No, that's awesome.
Okay, let's do the interview. Sound good?
Okay. Michelle,
okay.
You want to take him?
Yeah.
Michelle, if you want to, I think why our people like these kinds of missions moments, like if you just want to pop in and just say hi, like just totally impromptu, or if there's something that you just want to pop in and speak to, I think people really like just kind of the laid back part of it, where it's not super rehearsed or like, you know, and my son's playing Legos on my shoulder. I think that's cool. So like, don't feel like you have to be like super quiet or like keep him in another room or anything like that. We really kind of want to just capture like, this is what missions life looks like. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
So don't feel like you got to like keep him out of the frame. It's not like we did this with Mark and Sonny Rodley, and his kids came just like bombing in the room, and we're like,
that's awesome.
And he was like trying to like get him out of there, and Sonny came like running in and was like trying to pull him out of the room. And everyone in our church just lost it. Like they thought it was the funniest thing. They thought it was so great. So like,
cool.
don't stress out about any of that stuff.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. So you ready?
All right. Let's do it. You want to put a shirt on him, bro? And some pants.
This is Africa, Ben.
Yeah,
It's real life, Ben.
Seriously, what he's like all the time. No shirt and pants if we're lucky.
Dude, I'm glad that you have a shirt on.
Hey, me too.
If we were in Cameroon, I would not have a shirt on. It'd be hot and sweaty.
Okay, let's go ahead and start.
All right.
Hey, First Family, so excited to be here today with Ben and Michelle Dunlap. They're global partners of ours, and we can't wait to just hear about some of the things that are happening with them and in their ministry. So, Ben, why don't you take some time, maybe just reintroduce us, like tell us about who you are, where you're at, what you guys are doing.
Yeah, so It's great to be with you guys. God bless you. We just love being one of your missionaries and representing you in Cameroon. So Michelle and I and our son Henry have recently just returned. There's Michelle and Henry. And we just recently returned back to Cameroon. And we are on our second term. And it's just great to be back. We had a long process of waiting for our son to be born in that adoption process. But once everything was finalized, we came back. And our main ministry focus is discipleship. So we've implemented and developed a method for discipleship, and our goal in this next term is to train and implement our discipleship model with over 700 churches. And so that's just training in the value and importance of discipleship, and we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be a challenging time, but it's going to be an exciting time. And just in a few weeks, we're kicking this off where I'll be teaching the value and the importance of discipleship in one of our Bible schools, a 7-week course on how to do discipleship, what it looks like in your church, and why it's needed. And so we're really looking forward to that. And that's just one of the things that's the key thing that we're a part of is discipleship.
What are some of the things that have been challenges, and then maybe some things that have been, just really empowering? You feel like, man, this was such a win that you can tell us about.
Yeah. So one of the challenges currently that we're facing, Cameroon is almost on the brink of civil war. In the northwest and southwest regions, these are English-speaking parts of the country. They are fighting the Francophone portion of the country. So 80% of the country is French-speaking, 20% are English. And the English side of the country is fed up with the French side, and they want to separate themselves. And so there's been fighting. We've had some of our churches that have been destroyed in these regions, and we're talking tens of thousands of lives have been lost, and potentially over 1 million people have been displaced by this fighting. And there's not an end in sight for this conflict to die down. The people that are a part of this rebellion are so invested at this point that they're not going to give up, and it's just causing lots of problems. It's restricting our travel in the country, and that's probably the biggest challenge that we're facing is just dealing with this unrest and how the impact that it's having on the people in these regions. They're leaving them and they're coming to the city where we're at, and crime is up. It's just affecting everything, and our churches don't know how to cope and deal with trauma in these. So it's a big challenge, and we could really use some prayer in that area of just the Lord's presence for this conflict to die down.
What about like a win? What do you feel like that's something that we can celebrate?
Yeah, so one of the greatest things that we love doing is tabernacles. And so a tabernacle is like a church kit. It's 30 feet by 60 feet long. And if we've got land and a church is ready to go, we can go in a matter of 4 or 5 hours, we can build a church. And it's like overnight, people have an adequate, perfect place to worship. And we have raised a ton of money to do this. Churches have given to this. You guys through the GoFund have helped us with this, and so we're really excited about this. We hope to build at least 20 of these churches in the next year, next term. And so I love the discipleship, but the funnest thing that I get to do as a missionary is to go out in crazy remote places, seriously the jungle, and build churches. It's so fun. I love it.
That's so awesome. Well, I'm glad that you actually brought that up, because this last year, our church made you guys one of our projects. So you weren't just one of our partners that we support on a monthly basis. You were actually a project of ours, and we wanted to raise $12,000 to help you guys build
Awesome.
those churches, and we did it. We did it.
That is amazing.
So we're gonna be sending you guys a check for $12,000 to build those churches, man, and we get to empower you to do the thing that like really, really jazzes you up. And I think even as we're kind of wrapping up this conversation, I hope you and Michelle know that like we at Spokane First, man, we love you guys. We believe in you. We are so grateful that you are on the team with us, literally around the world, moving the mission of God forward. So let me, on behalf of our whole church, just say thank you guys so much for literally sacrificing so much and just being totally sold out to the call of God. It is so challenging to everyone here.
Wow, I'm lost for words, but thank you. That's incredible, and we want to. When it comes about, when those churches come up, we'll send you pictures. We'll let you know the pastor. We'll let you know the location where that's at, and we'll have you pray for those churches in that community, in that village. And thank you so much. That's a tremendous blessing. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Ben, Michelle, thank you for taking some time out of your day. I know it's a little bit of a time difference, but we figured it out. Just to be with us and talk to us and let us hear about some of the things that are happening in Cameroon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Lord bless you. We love being one of your missionaries. Thank you so much.
Done. That was so easy, right?
Yeah, very good.
Slam dunk.
Okay. If you think I kind of rambled at times, I was a little.
No, dude, it was.
Michelle was in the back, like, cut it off. Shut up. Less is more.
Yes. Less is more. Hey, so I'm so excited to send you guys that money.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You know, our church really rallied around it. They were pretty fired up.
That is amazing.
Would you guys be interested in sending a team to help build them?
You know, we've actually talked about that. It was really funny. Like I went on a paradigm trip, like I think it was like 3 years ago now, and there was just this missions explosion that happened in my heart, and I came back and we started like putting together a mission strategy, but like as is the case for most of my life, it was a very ready, fire, aim type of approach. So it was just like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do all these things. And there was a lot of things that were good, and there was probably more things that were bad. And it feels like we've been in a little bit of like a season of just still like finalizing and establishing like what is our mission strategy going to be. And it's like just getting the right people on the team and prioritizing the right things. And like one of those things that we're still trying to nail down is like short-term trips. Because there's not a culture of it here. Like there's not a culture of like you go on these trips and you do amazing things. So we have like a partner that we work with in Romania, and that's like a trip that we go to. We have a partner that we work with in Mexico because we tried to have like a tiered approach. And we're still trying to like wrestle that down to the ground. I know there is a hope to go to Africa and do some stuff like that. So my answer, a long answer to your question is maybe.
Sure, totally understand.
Yeah,
totally
maybe.
Understand. And just a heads up, this is an expensive trip. There's lots of there's requirements. You got to have a visa. That costs money. You got to have letters of invitation. It's doable, but there's an added challenge to it. And one thing that we've done, we have beautiful housing. So on our first term, we built a 2-story home, and so it's one of these tabernacles. We converted it into our home. So we live upstairs. Downstairs is a team house, 4 teams to come. And we have the fabrication shop on site. We have a truck. We load everything up, and this is a small team, no more than 10 to 12. What's that? If that. I mean, it's a smaller team, but seriously, we could look at something 3-4 years down the road.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. If you're ever looking, we can do this right. We can do it well, and we will host any team that comes well.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
can keep it in your mind. If you're thinking maybe it works out, we're there for you, and we'd love to host you.
Yeah, love it. Yeah. That's awesome. Hey, thanks for taking time, Michelle. Yeah. Put that kid to bed, man. What's going on here?
Or he's having milk.
Sometimes I wish that's all I had to do in my life.
Yeah.
No kidding.
That's awesome.
Well, we went to the doctor yesterday, and they're cutting him back on the milk.
Yeah, he had a doctor's appointment yesterday, and his vaccines. The cold chain, the vaccines have to be kept chilled. Yeah. And we don't trust it in Cameroon, and so we had to come here. Yeah. And that's why we're here after our meetings, and so he's all up to date on his shots.
Awesome. All right, guys. Yeah. We'll see you later.
Yeah, Lord bless you. Good to talk with you.
You too, man. We'll see you.
See ya. Bye-bye.